I ain't got no hurricane safety tips now. Well, Skelex got, and together we can weather the storm. So, check this. Prepare for power outages. Charge devices before a storm strikes. Develop a plan in the event that electricity goes. Learn where and how to shut off your home's electricity. Ensure that there are no trees in the lines near you. If you are experiencing low voltage, turn off the main switch in your home. Do not touch wet appliances. Be sure to stay tuned to Skelex's Facebook page and website for updates about the outages and restoration. For emergencies, our contact numbers are 465-2013, 661-2013, and 600. I repeat, 465-2013, 661-2013, and 600. Remember, with Skelex's hurricane safety tips, together we can weather the storm.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib. It's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Back to school is here, and Digicel is making it extra exciting. Go back to school in style with a brand new laptop. All you have to do is activate a 3-day Prime bundle or higher. Switch to Digicel or sign up for a postpaid plan, and you could be one of 2 lucky winners. At Digicel, we're all about keeping you connected. So what are you waiting for? Get ready, get connected, and go back to school the Digicel way. Digicel, better connected for back to school.
Your host was Value Man IGA Special.
Running June 26th and July 9th.
Now our Value Club Blue Tank Specials. Kraft barbecue sauces are just $7.99 each. Essential Everyday vegetable and canola oil, $13.99. Essential Everyday shredded and chunk cheeses, $7.99 each. Banquet breakfast sausages, $7.99. Essential Everyday fries are just $14.99. Essential Everyday disposable containers, $15.99. And now our very low weekly
Value deals. IG and Essential Everyday peanut butter, creamy and crunchy, $8.99. Essential Everyday pasta, $4.99. IGA or Essential Everyday salad dressing, $9.99. Essential Everyday oats quick and old-fashioned, $15.99. The AM toothpaste, $4.99. Nature Valley granola bars, $12.99. Shop smart, shop value mart. Tell them in Spanish.
sea listo y haga sus compras aquí en Value Mart.
Back to school is here at Harper's. Yes, Harper's, it's where it's at with the widest selection of school and art supplies for all schoolgoers, from the tiniest preschooler to the big cool college students. Plus, everyone can enjoy a 10% discount and a chance to spin the wheel and enter our grand draw in September. And the bonus is, our friendly team is looking forward to welcoming you again and again and again. For more information, call us at 466-6500.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust. To secure your investment, you need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us.
TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind.
You're always safe with us.
Buster! We run things, things are on we. Buster! Buster! Living color, do it differently. Buster! Buster! Not an in charge, like party party. Buster! Buster! We set the pace, then
Welcome to Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea only on Win Media 98.9.
Good morning to the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, the regional and international diaspora. Good morning. Thank you for tuning in to Island Tea. It is just about 7 minutes after the hour of 8. It is the 26th day of August as we wind down to the remaining 5 before we get into the 9th month of the year. That is September. If you're listening to us on your radio, just to remind you, we are on your FM dial at 98.9. We're being simulcast on TVC Channel 40, Facebook, as well as YouTube. Just to remind you of our numbers, if you wish to bring a pressing topic to the fore or joining on the discussion, they are in the UK 0333 440065, in the US 1-718-285-6984 or 1-305-921-4619, and our local number 466-0989. Quint, good morning. How are you doing this morning?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
Trying to be better than yesterday, but Nevis is where the hot tea is at.
Well, you know.
Listen, I saw the address last night. I was looking at the wrong time, and then I missed it, and then I was fortunate enough to be sent the link, and I got to listen to it for myself. But this reminds me of a series I'm watching now, Kings of Joburg. It's like, it's back,
yeah,
back and forth.
Yeah.
I need both sides to come out and have a debate and let me know the truth, or come out and have a public conversation with each other, because now I'm seeing that Dr. Janice Daniel Hodge is threatening legal action against Mr. Brantley.
Yeah, because he said he sold her land.
And she said that is not true.
Okay.
Wow, she says, tonight the premier slandered my good name and claimed that I sold lands on the southern side of Nevis and pocketed millions. This is absolutely false, and I will not sit on this. As early as tomorrow, I will pursue, which is today, I will pursue swift legal action. If the premier can prove anywhere that I have pocketed millions from any land sale, I will resign my seat forthwith. So she's very serious.
Yes.
She knows her truth, so she's putting her seat up as collateral. This is how confident I am, because I know the truth. I do not understand how a human being can lie like this. This is sick. The Bible tells us in John 8:4, I don't know how the Bible gets into these things, but when he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. My fellow Nevisians, this is exactly the spirit we are up against. There is a demonic force leading us, and that is why we must not only work hard together to take Nevis back, but also pray him out. I stand with you, my people, tonight because I am fed up with the bad governance, fed up with the character assassination, fed up with the lies. I will not dwell on his address because he spoke absolutely nothing. But together we will fight to the very end to bring good governance to Nevis. May God protect us all, my fellow Nevisians, from all evil.
Yeah.
But
I didn't listen because I wasn't going to listen to him. I've had enough of hearing Mark Brantley, but I listened to people giving analysis of what he said, and from what all of them said, he said virtually nothing, because unless he came and said, one, what was this investment supposed to be about?
But
two, who are the people that are going to be investing in it? Three, is it or is it not going to be a, what do you call
enclave?
it? Huh?
The enclave?
Yes.
He did say any development is going to abide by the laws and regulations of the land. So I am of the assumption that that's not the case.
Well, let's say this. If he can come and make a statement that an individual sold land, and the individual comes and emphatically say, you're going to have to prove whether I sold land or not because this is untrue, then that puts a question mark to anything else that he says.
Oh boy.
You understand? So
yeah. But Initially, I saw other reports, and as I said, these are not my reports, these are just what I saw, where what was being bandied about is that there is no investor.
Well, they said that he did say there's an investor. They said that he said last evening there is an investor.
He did say that last evening, but I
Yes.
mean prior to that,
Yes.
they was saying everything was rumors. I
But
don't know
he's
what to
the one
believe.
who was saying it was rumors because I've heard tapes with him in a town hall meeting saying to a particular individual who owns land in that area that you're here. I'm trying to answer you. I'm trying to work with you, but you keep going back to his rumors. And she stayed there and held her ground and said, well, okay, so it then means that you as the leader don't know what is going on. So, no. Hello, caller.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing today?
Yes, I'm fine. I listened to Mr. Brantley.
I knew you would.
Yes. Yeah. Because, like I said, I wanted to hear what he was going to say.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know what I was mostly disappointed with?
What?
The fact that he gave the impression to the lady who challenged him at some town hall meeting that they had.
Yes.
That nothing tall goes so.
That's
exactly.
Right? When he knew, by then he would have known.
He would have
exactly.
They've learned nothing
what
from
was
Bill
happening.
Clinton. They've learned
Right?
nothing from Bill Clinton, I see.
Yeah. You know, isn't that what you call a lie?
Exactly.
But you notice how I was so proud of that woman because she did not back down, you know.
and her stuff is at stake.
You know, so that was the first thing that I was really incensed about. That it could be as big as that now to come and tell us that, well, something is indeed happening.
Yes.
And they are negotiating with an investor. Okay? The second thing that I found kind of unnerving is the fact that he would actually try to bring in the opposition by saying that, well, they're making money off of whatever is going down there, whatever deal is going down there. And so trying to suggest that, well, they don't want other divisions to make money, but they're doing it.
They're doing it.
Okay, and it's going to be very interesting. I think both the leader of the opposition, in Nevis, and Brantley, Premier Brantley, have raised the stakes.
Yes.
Because to me, either it's true or it is not.
That's it.
It isn't one of those, right? Okay? And so we'll see exactly who is lying and who
is telling the truth, yeah.
Right. Okay? So we can look forward to that. Right? And then this third thing is that he wants to look us in the eye and tell us that, so what if his wife is involved in this, in the deal making? It's basically, you cannot, I'd be very hard pressed to believe that company, his wife's company, didn't have some kind of prior knowledge over other real estate companies that something was about to go down.
That's it.
And
I heard a statement played last evening where he was saying that he does not discuss these kind of things with his wife. She has her own business and so on and so forth. Okay, let's analyze.
Yeah.
Let's analyze that with the kind of money that had the potential of coming into the family. This kind of deal, the kind of, as you stated, knowledge that you have had to have known. You're wanting to tell me that a husband and wife who travels together frequently won't discuss something of this magnitude?
That would have been grounds for divorce, man.
Lord, money really plays a role.
I don't understand. I don't understand.
But as he says, he can't tell his wife how to run her business.
No, he cannot. But
And
he
he
said
says
he
he
did
can't.
not discuss it. So that's the problem.
Exactly, and as he says, he can't. When he come into government, tell his wife she can't work anymore. He met
Yeah,
her working.
that isn't the question.
No. But you see, that's the whole point about things like nepotism, and cronyism. It's how you do things.
Yeah.
You know, if well, you obviously knew that something was going down. At least for proprietary reasons, involve other real estate companies so that it doesn't look as if your wife's company have insider information and has exclusive. You know, at least
imagine
give an impression that you're trying to do things above board.
Imagine something
they
that.
don't care.
Imagine a venture that could bring in millions, right?
Yep.
And only one company is incorporated in it. Only one.
Only one.
Huh?
Which happens to be the owned by the wife of the leader who is negotiating this.
Now here's a question that I'm gonna ask, because I'm puzzled. What does the federal government benefit from an initiative like this? That eludes me.
There is the suggestion, There is the suggestion, and I also listened to Patricia Bartlett, who is on the opposition in Nevis, last night. And one of the things she made reference to is the fact that Grantley was, the CCM don't even bother with fundraising.
Yes.
Okay? Raising funds for the party.
Yes.
Right? And it's pretty much the same thing down here.
Yeah.
Okay? And I am wondering if it is not a case where the Labour Party might be looking at big financial backers instead of the little man on the
I get
supporter of the party. So right, exactly.
But doesn't
so,
this?
So that might explain the connection, because remember, that MSR guy,
Philippe Martinez.
Right. Actually openly said that he gave money to political parties.
Yes,
okay, and I am sure that other the big business people do the same thing. Okay, and it was very heartwarming to hear at least Patricia Bartlett say, "Listen, we got to look at this campaign financing reform or campaign financing thing, because money, obviously, money is talking, and it's going to be talking in the next election."
Yes.
Right?
But
that is not good for democracy.
But Patricia Bartlett also said over and over again, on numerous occasions, that Jew has been led down the garden path again. And when we look at the whole picture, it seems so. Because the federal government, apart from what you just suggested, and it has merit to it, what else? Why else would you get in a venture like this?
Yeah.
And if the federal government is smart, they can wash their hands of this, because this could not have gone through without the sanctioning of the leader on Nevis.
But that's the whole point. He said last night in the address that nothing can happen in Nevis when it comes around land unless they sanction it.
Yeah.
Then why give the power to the prime minister?
Because he didn't want it to look like here's the leader and there's his wife, and so he passed that over, and now it drops into the federal government lap. That is why I say the federal government, if they're smart, they should wash their hands of this.
Look, I'm beginning to realize that politics in this place is nothing short of nasty.
But do you realize
they're going down a really terrible road to be quite honest.
They're going
There's
down.
no principles now.
They're going
right?
down
It's
the Alice in Wonderland rabbit hole. You remember all the things that happened to Alice in Wonderland? Weird things. That's why people say don't go down the rabbit hole.
Yes, things getting curiouser and curiouser according to.
But
Alice in
when
Wonderland.
you look back in hindsight, you realize that Mark Brantley has been in a lot of things from way back down coming up to now. And he conveniently
getting away
thinks
with it?
that's it. That's why I was going to say he conveniently thinks he can just wash his hands of things. Like who Pontius Pilate it was who washed his hand and say, well, I see no fault
Wasn't
with
me.
this man, so
It wasn't me.
yeah.
You know?
If you want to
even
crucify him.
in the previous administration, he said, "Well, I wasn't at cabinet. I wasn't in the cabinet.
Yeah, I
when
was in the
it-
yard.
we wash it. It's always somebody else's fault, right? And somebody like that, you just cannot trust.
That is why I said I don't have the time to listen to Mark Brantley, because like I said, I used to believe that okay, here's this young, dynamic sounding man. He has potential, but like I said, if a baker comes and he over a period he can't give you good praised cheese, fluffy and delicious and long lasting, you fire him and get another baker.
Yeah. But interestingly enough, he made a post this morning saying, "Who want to get froggy can get froggy, because I know I have my receipt." So maybe that's his response to the threatening lawsuit.
Yeah,
You
well, again, as you said, we'll see how it plays out because it's either one or the other.
Yeah, right.
And
Something like this.
and as the old people used to say, we'll see where barley grow.
But this, I am really disappointed in how those people at the top.
I wonder
behaving.
how these down here in the federal cabinet feel now. I wonder
About
how
what?
having gone and passed this bill, because
Well, you see, that's the thing. I honestly, I don't even think they're paying attention, right? Which is what essentially happens quite often, where the leader does something, and there's a knee-jerk reaction to not to scrutinize and so on. Just go along, get along, or go along to get along, or get along to go along,
Yeah.
or whichever one, right?
Yeah.
And I think that is the case here. When you look at the legislation, the thing is, it is sufficiently vague for them to claim that, well, this is just, and as Brantley said last night, this is not anything new. What's new, I guess, is just the marketing. Insert the word sustainable in there to make it more palatable and so on.
Yeah.
But really and truly, it's nothing new. They have it in the Cayman and Jamaica, as Brantley suggested.
But have you
there are
heard-
other places around as well, like in Curacao that have free zones and so on.
Yeah, but have you heard the website for the main individuals who want to invest in this? The website was named, I think it was named something about
Libertarian.
Yes, libertarian.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the comments that went along with that, comments such as, we target governments who are in
Right.
dire financial situations and that kind
Right.
of stuff. And here's another
But it's
interesting
good.
here's
Yeah.
another interesting statement. St. Kitts and Nevis will be the first to go into a sovereign, that word again. What's the word again?
Enclave.
No.
Enclave.
Which one?
No, the one that Mr. McMahon just stated.
Sustainable.
No,
Sustainability.
the name of the name of the website.
Oh.
Libertarian, yeah. A sovereign libertarian community. St. Kitts and Nevis will be the first. Why would we want to be the first?
Could you
of
Could you
such a
imagine
thing.
the daring to say something like that?
You understand?
They're crazy.
This is
I
why.
don't understand.
This is why the federal government cannot afford to be silent on it.
Yeah. I mean, they're really bold-faced, right? To actually come with something like that. And generally speaking, you're getting the impression, because the bill was passed so fast, you're getting the impression that it is not, they don't entirely know how controversial it can be, you know. But they want to ram it down our throats.
Yeah.
That speech that he made should have been made before that bill was passed as a way of sensitizing people.
That's it. That's it.
You know? This is just outrageous, man. But anyway, we'll see. I think he has a press conference this week as well. And he has his show. I don't know what if the Prime Minister is having
To me, when Mark Brantley has these press conferences, it's either to talk down to people or try to, cuss people, call them names and that kind of stuff, and say they're illiterate and those kind of stuff. Imagine a leader of a people, and that's the way you're addressing your electorate. I'm gonna. Yeah, we're gonna have to leave you because we have another program coming up.
Okay then.
Okay, so let's take a break now.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Kids and neighbors, it's time to celebrate! We're raising our glasses and saying cheers to 20 years as your trusted telecommunications provider. And because we love our amazing customers, we're giving you the chance to win! Every week, we've got exciting prizes just...
From the time that you taste it, man, you know that is greatness. Some ice in your cup, tell your friends drink up. You know that we like it. Sing down the bartender. No, you don't need chase up, but if you want, it could mix with anything. We drinking Stones ginger wine, the original ginger wine. We drinking a like I say, Stones ginger wine. Greatness is forever.
Back to school is here at Harper's. Yes, Harper's, it's where it's at with the widest selection of school and art supplies for all schools.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Carry Festa is connections, community, and unity. It is understanding each other without saying a word. Separated by water, united in purpose. One voice, one story, one song. Carry Festa is we thing. Come for Carry Festa 15 in Barbados. Book your stay now at visitbarbados.org/Carry Festa.
Got itchy palms? That's a sign. Money could be coming your way with Scratch and Win from Caribbean Lottery. It's the easiest way to win instantly. No waiting, no fuss. With tickets starting from just $2 up to $20. Win over $35 million in prizes. The higher the price, the bigger the prize. So scratch today for your chance to win up to $200,000. Available at Caribbean Lottery agents island-wide. Must be 21 years and older to play.
Carry Festa is the whole region looking good, and the whole road is rerun with. It's in the way we walk, it's the way we talk, it's the way we move. We ready for the world, and when we step out and pose just so, it's pure style and fashion. Look away! Come for Carry Festa 15 in Barbados. Book your stay now at visitbarbados.org/Carry Festa.
Back to to school is here, and Digicel is making it extra exciting. Go back to school in style with a brand new laptop. All you have to do is activate a 3-day Prime bundle or higher. Switch to Digicel or sign up for a postpaid plan, and you could be one of 2 lucky winners. At Digicel, we're all about keeping you connected. So what are you waiting for? Get ready, get connected, and go back to school the Digicel way. Digicel, better connected for back to school.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib. It's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
When can I open my eyes?
Not yet. Okay, open. Do you see what I see?
It just looks like land to me.
It's our land, son. A wise investment that will grow with you.
Invest in land with CIBC Caribbean and we'll give you US $250 towards your valuation cost and 50% off your loan application fee. With CIBC Caribbean land financing, you can choose to build, hold, or pass on to your children. Visit CIBCCaribbean.com to learn more. Conditions apply.
Welcome to Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea, only on Win Media 98.9.
Good morning. We are back on Island Tea, and today's topic is stroke. It is time for Weekly Dose with Dr. Natalie Osborne. Good morning, Doc. Welcome back to the studio. How are you doing today?
Good morning. Good morning, Cartensia. Good morning to everyone who's listening to this program. I'm doing pretty good, so it's good to be here today.
We were just talking how life is lifing, and it's just going too fast.
Yes.
We wanted to slow down a little bit.
We're just getting too busy, and that creates so much health problems and forgetting to take care of ourselves.
Exactly. So
you asked why this topic this morning, Cartensia, because I usually like some inspiration. Mm-hmm. I met a gentleman about 3 weeks ago at the clinic in the hospital, and in talking to him, I recognized that I knew him for years. He was with his son, and essentially he had weakness on one side of his body. He was dragging. His speech was unclear, and his son told me he's had a stroke. In fact, he's had multiple strokes. Wow. And I knew the individual, and immediately my mind went back to years ago when I told him and diagnosed him with high blood pressure, and told him he needed to take his medication, place him on some medication. And years later, he's had about 3 or 4 strokes over the years, and then was hospitalized just this year again with another massive stroke. And that led me, he came to the clinic, because I'm a surgeon, he came to see me because he had injured his toe. And then we got to talking. I was talking with the son, and I knew this individual. Mm-hmm. And it was sad to see what had happened and the deterioration that this gentleman had over the years. And this was somebody who I would have seen or diagnosed maybe in 2014, thereabout, I remember. So that's why things come back, and I said, well, this is something important. And I often see patients who then eventually go on to have stroke, or persons who are in the hospital with complications of a stroke, and that's where surgery comes in. But it's important to understand what we need to do in terms of preventing it, supporting persons with a stroke, and understanding what stroke is.
Okay, so you just say to understand what stroke is. So tell us, so we can understand, what is a stroke?
Okay, well, thinking about a stroke, you've got to understand it affects the brain. Think about the brain and the blood vessels as like pipes, your plumbing. And so a stroke is where the blood supply to a segment or area of the brain is affected or cut off. So think about your plumbing. If it gets blocked, build up of things inside of that plumbing, grease, gunk, and all that stuff. So it blocks off the pipe, and there's no longer flow. to that area, or sometimes the pipe may burst and start to leak. And those are ways that we call there is decrease or interruption of the blood supply to the brain, and that is what causes the stroke. The symptoms that a person gets depend on the area that is affecting in the brain and how severe it is.
Okay, let's talk about types of stroke. I just thought a stroke was a stroke.
No, a stroke can be of two major ways, Hortensia. It can be where there is a clot or plaque. You often talk about plaque, like deposits of cholesterol making that plaque. Think of it like a greasy, gunky pipe that filled with hair and grease and all this that build up over the years. And so there is a clot that forms there around that area and blocks off that pipe or blocks off that blood vessel. And that is what we call an ischemic. What happens because the flow beyond that blockage is interrupted. So brain cells start dying in that area, and then the individual develop these symptoms. That's why time is of essence in this type of stroke. This ischemic stroke occurs in about 85% of the individuals. So it's the most common type of stroke. And many persons would have had a family member in the hospital, a friend with a type of a stroke. And the other type is what we call a hemorrhagic or bleeding. Once you hear hemorrhage, it comes from the word bleed, to bleed. So a hemorrhagic stroke is where that blood vessel becomes weakened over time because of the increased pressure and the force against the wall. That blood vessel breaks and the blood leaks out and creates damage around the area. You've also heard about persons mention this little thing I call like a mini stroke. We call that a TIA, transient ischemic attack. So sometimes what happens, there could be temporary blockage in a blood vessel, and then that can resolve in a short order. So it's called like a mini stroke. Usually the symptoms resolve in a short period of time, like 24 hours. But the symptoms are the same. But if go unnoticed or not addressed, the person can go on to have a more intense or more permanent stroke.
Oh boy, we got to take care of ourselves. So how does a stroke affect, let me use myself, me.
How would a stroke affect an individual? There's so many factors you want to take into consideration, Hortensia. It depends on the area of the brain. You remember people talk about the right and the left side of the brain. Those are called the cerebrum. Those are the massive areas of the brain. And those areas affect our thinking, our thought process, our emotion, our memory, muscle function, and more. And it depends on where. So remember, if the right side of the brain is affected, you'll get your symptoms on the left side. Remember, it's always opposite because as it passes through the neck to the spinal cord, the nerves, they cross path. So right affects left. So when you tell me that your granny has weakness on the left side, we know that likely the stroke would be on the right. The same way, the opposite, if your granny has a weakness on the right side, the injury. And that's just how it is, because the brain signals, once they leave the brain, they cross path. So keep that in mind. So it's going to depend. We've heard about lobes in the brain. You hear about the frontal lobe, you hear about the temporal lobe, the occipital lobe in the back, all right? And the parietal lobes, those are kind of on the top, so on each side. And you have the main biggest area here, the frontal lobe, and each lobe is responsible for different functions. So sometimes you know, based on the ability that the individual have, you would have an idea where the stroke is located. So these persons could have weakness or paralysis of one side of the body. They can have change in behavior. They can have vision impairment. They can have memory loss. So these are some of the things, just so that the audience would understand. So if, for example, the occipital or the back part of the brain, remember the brain is a whole organ, but it have different areas or different segments of it that we call lobes. So for example, example, if it's in the back or the occipital lobe, your vision might be more affected. If it's in the frontal lobe or the part to the front, when you say front forehead, you want to think that they're going to be difficulty in thinking, in judgment and stuff like that. So just to give the audience an understanding, because to make it simple, but you're going to know that because two things, the right is going to affect the left is going to affect the right, and depends on which area of the brain and the extent of the damage, you know that the symptoms are going to be what the symptoms may be.
Okay. So what are the risk factors of developing a stroke?
Well, this is important for us to understand. And we can break them down in factors that we can control, Quinn, and what we cannot control, Hortensia. And I spoke about the individual who developed this stroke from a history of having high blood pressure years ago. Uncontrolled, poorly managed, non-compliant. These was the persons just do not take their medication. Sometimes they would tell the healthcare provider they've forgotten how to the medication. They forgot, they ran out of it. But for many reasons, they do not take their medication. So these are risk factors that we can control. You want to have things like, you want to make sure you control your high blood pressure. Those are the ones we can control. You want to control things like your diabetes, okay? You want to eliminate smoking. Smoking is a risk factor for developing a stroke. You want to eliminate alcohol because excessive alcohol use can lead to stroke as well too. So the high blood pressure and the diabetes, these are things we know we can control. We can stop drinking, we can stop smoking, all right? You want to cut down the amount of fat, saturated fat, because if your cholesterol goes high, what is that? Remember the plaques that are deposited in the blood vessels are made up of excessive cholesterol and stuff. And what would that lead to? That could lead to a stroke. Remember, I want our audience, because sometimes people would say a brain attack, similar like a heart attack. The idea is simply that the blood supply to that important vital organ is cut off or interrupted. So the same way when it happens in the heart, because the development of plaques, you have that area of the heart that is supplied by that vessel doesn't get the supply that it needs, doesn't get the blood that it needs. The same way in the brain, and that area starts to die. Persons who are obese as well, you're at risk of developing a stroke. So these are the factors that you can control. And what about not exercising? We preach that, Hortensia, nonstop. All the time we talk about that. So once you start having these things that we can do something about with our exercise or diet and controlling our high blood pressure. And they're things that we cannot control. You ask me what they are, Hortensia, just thinking about that. What are they, Hortensia?
Well, I
Give
would
me
go
something.
with one, getting old.
Yes.
Because if we could stop that, all of us would stop that part right there.
But do not underestimate that young people, Quinn, can have a stroke. You want to keep that in mind, because there in rare occasions you see persons in their 20s, in their 30s develop stroke. But you want to know that it's commonly associated with getting older. They said after the age of 55, your risk of developing a stroke increases with every decade. Okay, so you keep that in mind. So being female, Hortensia, this one is for us again.
Are we paying for our sins?
So it is estimated that more women develop and die from stroke than men. All right. Sometimes it worsens with usage of these hormone-based contraceptives. All right. And it increases with these postmenopausal hormonal therapy. And persons who have gestational diabetes, like during their pregnancy, a woman's blood sugar increases. We call that gestational diabetes, and that could increase your risk. So just being a female can increase your risk. And those stroke is not really a thing. You can have a family history. If your granny and your mother may have had a stroke, you may be at risk. Just because commonly you may have some of the same risk factors because of your hypertension, your diabetes, and your lifestyle changes. And race, blacks, we in the United States, all studies are showing that blacks were more at risk of developing strokes, followed by Hispanics. Also, it's a lot of things, factors, socioeconomical that comes into play. not having the finance, not having access to healthy food in your community, not having those kind of, so those socioeconomic imbalances play an important factor as well. And blacks tend to have more diabetes and hypertension.
Because
All
of how
of
we
it,
eat.
yes, how we eat often.
Caller, go ahead. You're live on Weekly Dose.
Good morning. How are you, Potencia, and the great doctor?
We're good, thanks.
Doctor, I'm very fascinated with your timeline, observation, and telling the truth as it is. We all are responsible for ourselves and to make sure we take our medication and follow the protocol for a better health and wealth for tomorrow. But I will leave it right there. Continue to do your work. It is quite impressive.
Thank you.
Thank you, caller. All right, so
Okay.
let's get back into it.
So, so we were talking about the risk factors, those that we can control and those that we're unable to control, Cartensia. So we went through them. There are other health conditions that can put you at risk as well too. Sickle cell disease. Yes, persons, and we know that sickle cell disease occurs in blacks. Things like heart failure, persons who have other heart diseases like valve problems, because we know the heart having these little valves, if they're damaged to these valves or their plaques develop on these valves, you can then develop a stroke, because these plaques can break off and go up into the brain, get into the blood vessels, block the blood vessels. Remember, we emphasize that most of the stroke are ischemic because of blockage, so you can have those. Persons who have an enlarged heart, so you're at risk of that once you have a lot of these underlying diseases. If you've had a stroke prior, you're at risk of having another stroke. I remember I mentioned the gentleman has had multiple strokes now after the years.
Okay, so what are some of the symptoms of strokes?
Okay, so this is what we want our audience to take away, because it's going to be very important. The treatment of stroke needs to be initiated as soon as possible. So anytime you have any symptoms of stroke, you do not wait and sit around so the symptoms can resolve. What you want to do is go to the emergency room immediately or call 911. Get someone there to assist you. So you want to think of some of these symptoms. You start having blurred vision or double vision. Headaches. Sometimes this headache may be sudden and intense. When you're having what you call a hemorrhagic or that stroke where the blood vessel breaks and start to bleed, they say it's the worst headache you've ever had in your life. So this sharp, sudden, intense headache. You're going to realize that you have weakness in your limbs, okay? You're unable to grab your bottle of water that you're about to drink because you realize that your left side or your left arm is weakened. You will start to have nausea or vomits. You may pass out or feel faint. So you realize that your face starts drooping, right, Quint? You realize, or your family member will recognize, Mom, look at you, what happened? This, as you're realizing that the left side is drooping downward. You're unable to make a proper smile because that side is unable, your muscles that control that, those muscles are weakened. Your voice may be changed and you're unable to speak, so you start mumbling and you're slurring your words, so you realize something is happening. And it's good in a sense if you're there with someone, because someone can pick up this. Mom, what's going on? Why are you speaking like that? And you realize there's a difficulty in speaking. This person could have difficulty in balancing and walking. So you realize they start to stumble around. All right? There's an acronym that I want our audience to remember. Be fast, or even if you don't remember all of it, fast. All right, so be fast. Keep that in mind. Be fast. So we have, B means balance. You realize a person becomes unbalanced. They start to stumble. Okay, they start to have blurred vision or double vision. That's the E. And the fast now is what? Okay, their face. F is for face. The face is drooping, Cartensia. Then you have the A, these persons I just forgot the arms. You realize that you can't balance your arms, or you realize there's weakness in one of the arms. You ask them to extend their arm, and the left side keeps falling down. They have no control over the muscle, all right, in that. Their speech is slurred, we said that, and time. T means time. 911, you call that. Do not sit down and wait and say, hoping that the symptoms are going to pass. Because once you have a stroke, and we said the most common is ischemic, you want to get to the hospital because they're potent, powerful drugs that we can give to bust up the clot or break up the clot.
Okay.
So you want to. And those drugs are given in a timeline of within 4 hours, 4.5 hours the most. And you want to make some quick note when you started having the symptoms, or when you realize that mommy started feeling or having this droop in her face or slurring her words. So it starts at 9 o'clock. So if you work out your maths, Cotton, so you got to get to the hospital before what? 9 plus 4, how much time is that? By 1 o'clock, the latest. You want to be able to get assessed immediately. The timing is going to be very important.
Okay. All right. So as we continue along, we were just speaking about the symptoms of a stroke. So what, we just did the one in signs. So how are strokes diagnosed?
So stroke is going to be diagnosed, of course, with the symptoms that the individual have, and they get into the hospital. One of the most important things is going to be to get a scan of the brain, a CT scan. And that's going to show us which area have the signs of a stroke, okay? And it's going to be able to differentiate if it's a hemorrhagic or bleeding stroke, or if it's a stroke ischemic where there's a blockage. So that's important, because how do you treat now going to depend on that. So you could do a CT scan, you could do a CT angiogram where you put in a special dye and you want to see the blood vessels much more clearly. So those we can be done. You could do an ultrasound of the neck. Why? Because a lot of the strokes that are ischemic, where there's a clot that breaks off, it comes from the carotid arteries. These arteries run into the neck. Those are the most important blood vessels that comes from the heart going up, taking blood supply to the brain. So oftentimes the clot or the plaque develops in these blood vessels, and then when they break off, they embolize or move into the brain. They get into a smaller blood vessel and they get trapped or lodged in there, leading to these symptoms of stroke. You want to do echocardiogram where you do like an ultrasound of the heart. Why is that? Because persons who have abnormal heart rhythm, they can develop clot in the heart, and those clot can leave the heart and go to the brain. You can do an MRI as well too. So your important information is going to come from looking at the brain first of all, determining whether it is that there's a clot or blockage or there is a bleed.
Okay. So hemorrhagic shock.
Stroke.
Why am I saying shock? Why am I thinking about shock? What is the treatment for that? Sorry.
So if it is something that is bleeding, you want to stop the bleeding in that instant, okay? These persons may be put on medication to make the blood a little bit more thicker in that instant. Okay? You want to control their blood pressures. Usually when a blood vessel breaks or rupture, what happens because your blood pressure is high. Sometimes they may need surgery as well too, because if there's bleeding in the brain, the pressure in the brain increases, the brain starts swelling. And so these can be very complex. Why we need to identify one versus the other? Because in the stroke where there is a blockage, you can use clot busters, medication to break up the clot. But you can't use that medication if there's a bleed. You see why it's important? Yeah. Sometimes you may tell granny at the house, take an aspirin. You may not want to do that because the aspirin is meant to thin out the blood. But what if it's a bleeding stroke? You don't want to make that worse. So it's very important not to delay and make those decisions on your own. So one of the first thing is going to do the CT scan, determine if it is a hemorrhagic or bleeding stroke, or it is a clot that's blocking a blood vessel, that's called an ischemic stroke, and then you go. Because if it's a clot too, what you can do, in specialized neurological centers, you can put in a catheter and you can move or fish out the clot and the plaque. So open back that. That is why time is of essence.
All right, caller, go ahead. You're live on Weekly Dose.
Doc, good morning. Now, I understand what you're saying, but if a person is going through the motion of getting a stroke, now we say, give them nutmeg. The hospital, yeah. But what you were saying to me takes a long time. Okay, let me come straight. My wife, it was my son who recognized that something was wrong with mommy, like you're saying. First, she called me. She said to me the morning, she said, look at me. Now, I'm about to take her to work. She said, anything wrong with me? Immediately, I recognized her face was going south. Now, my first action is how to stop maybe the brain. I went in the kitchen. I took up a handful of cloves and tell her, chew them up. I don't fast forward. I continue all day on my medicine because I is the first family doctor. 6 o'clock the evening, the hospital checking out all day from about 8 o'clock the morning. The hospital checking up for corona. 6 o'clock the evening, they tell her she was getting a stroke. We knew that. My decision to take her to the hospital and not to a doctor was because you go to a doctor, you got to wait. In the hospital, I mean, it's people there who knows. I'm saying, the question I really want to ask you is, what is it about, if anything, about nutmeg that we continue, whether it's just, you know what I'm saying, or is something real in the nutmeg? Bless up.
Okay.
Thank you.
I hope that the story had a good ending and his partner was life was saved. But it's important to understand. He said that his son recognized the symptoms. That was important, and to take immediate action. He's talking about some spices, nutmegs. They have some nutritional benefits and health benefits. He said nutmeg can sometimes decrease your blood pressure, in certain instances relieve pain. But think about it. The nutmeg needs to go into your digestive system, broken down, absorb, get into your bloodstream. That's a process. We don't have time, and I will not promote that when someone is having a stroke. Of course, there are benefits to nutrition and overall health, but in an emergency setting, we have got to act because we spoke about the essence of time. In your timeline, you want to get there at least within 4 hours or less. I don't think there's anywhere on this island that you cannot get to the hospital in less than 4 hours. So you want to get there, get the scan done, and the bit that he mentioned about the emergency room, I know there are situations, sometimes the staff is overwhelmed, there is limitations that we have. I make no excuse about that. But those persons are categorized as emergencies and red emergencies. So once they come to the emergency room, these individuals should be walked in or taken in immediately. If the ambulance is called, they're given priority, and those persons should be addressed most immediately. Okay? So I don't know if there was some delay in that, but ultimately I'm hoping and happy to know that the end result was good.
Caller, go ahead. You're live on Weekly Dose.
Good morning to everybody. Greetings in Jesus' name. Now, I've been listening to the program off and on. But what I would like to ask, based upon the few things I've heard, are the surgeries, scans, treatments, and that sort of stuff that the doctor is speaking about, are they all done here in St. Kitts? For example, she talk about some kind of scan, and I'm wondering, just not a few seconds ago, she talked about some scan that is thing to do with the brain, where you have to tell if it is hemorrhagic, or if the stroke is hemorrhagic or not, and those sort of stuff. Are all of those things, these procedures and so on, treatments and so on, are they all done in St. Kitts?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, you're
Thank
welcome. No, most of the surgical procedures, we do not have a neurosurgeon on board. So in these instances, that's why we talk about timeliness, because if we can give this thrombolytics or this medication that's going to break down the clot, that would be our best course, and those things we do have access to, though these drugs are very expensive as well too. So we can give you those medical support, which means your oxygen, you want to lower your blood pressure during that time, you want to treat your cholesterol level, you want to control your blood sugars. Those are where we manage it medically with many of our patients. But in terms of having neurosurgical support for on an urgency basis, we do not have that. If that person is able to fly out to a nearby center, they can do that at times for additional medical support.
Okay, but all the scans that you mentioned, we do have them
Yes,
available here in the
we
Federation.
do. We have a CT scan in the hospital. We can do that to get an idea if we are bleeding, if there's collection of blood in the brain, or if there is an area that it's going to tell us if there's an area that is ischemic or has a clot.
Caller, go ahead. You're live on Weekly Dose.
Me again, Doc. You see, with the knowledge from our ancestors and the blessings of the earth, she's 100%. 100%. If we had left her, if I had left her to the hospital, she wouldn't be here the way she is today. I understand what you're saying, but until we get to all them tests, it must be something we can do. Fast track. If I had left my wife to the hospital, they quarantine her for 4 days to check if she got corona, then send out the hospital. I understand what you're saying, but you gotta understand that what the people say, real.
Okay,
if
thank
I
you.
left my wife to the hospital, no.
Okay, let me try and see if I could give the caller some support and clarify a couple of things. There are multiple things that are going on always simultaneously. And during the peak of the coronavirus and stuff, there were protocols in place, all right? And it doesn't mean because she was isolated, she wasn't getting her blood thinners if were needed, she wasn't getting her medication to control her blood pressures, her diabetes, because two things can be happening at once. Because we also do know that persons are at risk for developing stroke as a result of having the coronavirus. So that is why that protocol would have been in place. But the caller did do the right thing, take his wife to the hospital. So him saying that she was isolated just for 4 days, etc., doesn't mean that other things weren't taking place and happening at the same time. But importantly, before we end, it is important, Hortensia, that we talk about this factor.
So how can stroke be prevented?
And why this bit is very important is because we speak about our limitations, and I always go back to that. So our heart and our support is going to come from prevention, because we have a socioeconomic condition in this country that doesn't allow. Most of our persons are still uninsured. So these individuals, we're not going to be able to get an air ambulance to fly you out. These are just the reality of where we are. Why I mentioned the individual in the onset of the case were these symptoms and the ending strokes that he had could have been prevented years ago when I saw him and treated him in 2024. No, in 2014.
14, yeah.
Yes, in 2014. So there's a certain things that we have within our control to our listening audience. And it says 80% of strokes are preventable with lifestyle changes, risk factor control, and medical management. Control your blood pressures. How many times I'm insisting and I'm asking my colleagues to insist that we keep a tight control of blood pressures with our patients. Patients are sometimes unwilling and do not want to be on their blood pressure medication. Doc, I can try to lose some weight, but 3-6 months later, they haven't lost the weight. So they need to be on the blood pressure control medication. You want to manage your diabetes. Oftentimes we see persons as well too, and you may know some of them in your community that they do not take care of their blood sugars. You know that they are diabetic, and you'll see them with a dollar bread with cheese and whatever else in there. And these are persons that are so stubborn in their resistance. So we've got to control those. We've got to treat your high cholesterol. That is something that we can control with your drugs that lower your blood cholesterol. Sometimes diet is not enough, and I often have to struggle to convince a patient that no, we've tried diet for the last 3 months, and now your cholesterol is 285. You want it to be below 200. So it's not improving, it's actually increasing. Now we need to add drugs on board. You want to make sure that you tell patients to exercise. That is going to be it. Keep your weight low, your body mass index. Because we know that if you can lose weight and get your weight within an adequate size where you need to be best for your overall health, it can lower your risk for diabetes, hypertension, strokes, and lots of heart disease, and so many other illnesses. You want to adapt a healthy lifestyle. We're promoting a lot of the smoking, but this is a risk factor.
Yeah, quit smoking.
Quit smoking if you're a smoker. We do a lot of partying here on the island, so we're drinking and consuming a lot of alcohol. We need to not do that or limit the amount to one drink or drink only in a social occasion. And you got to know to control yourself. If you have a glass of wine, that should be enough. Because these are the things that we can do to prevent. Because what happens, if you prevent it, we don't have to fight it. And then if it does happen, you are aware of the symptoms. That's why we spend this time, he explained to you, and you want to get to the hospital. So if you have any of these underlying conditions, high blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, any heart disease, you're at increased risk of developing a stroke, you want to do your routine checkups. Sometimes I see patients who are diabetic and I ask, do you have a primary care physician? Oftentimes they tell me no, and seem not to understand that they need to be doing their regular checks every 3 months or every 6 months because they are diabetic and they are at risk. So we are thinking that prevention is better than cure. That's why we talk to our people here on the island.
I see this one, I'm not, but I want us to touch on it. Why does my phone blank out when I don't need? Give me 1 second. It's right there. No one control your cardiac risk?
Oh, to know and control your cardiac risk, of course. So these are persons who maybe, your cardiac risk is just the fact that you're hypertensive, you have high cholesterol. Those are things that affect your cardiac risk. You're getting older. And so these are the things that you want to control your cardiac risk with your weight. So all of these are factors that still comes about to control your cardiac risk. You want to ensure that if you have any kind of heart disease, you're following up closely. If you're on any prescribed medication, you are consistent with those. That's how you prevent these things.
Okay, well, Doc, it's always a pleasure having you come in and educate us about varying topics, and today's topic was very informational, informative. I don't know what's happening with my brain this morning, so thank you so much. Have a great day. I want to tell you don't work too hard, but I know with your profession, that's impossible. Thank you so much.
Have a great day, everyone, and be kind to each other. Bye-bye.
Found the South 98.9.
Back to school is here at Harper's. Yes, Harper's, it's where it's at with the widest selection of school and art supplies for all schoolgoers, from the tiniest preschooler to the big cool college students. Plus, everyone can enjoy a 10% discount and a chance to spin the wheel and enter our grand draw in September. And the bonus is, our friendly team is looking forward to welcoming you again and again and again. For more information, call us at 466-6500.
When can I open my eyes?
Not yet. Okay, open. Do you see what I see?
It just looks like land to me.
It's our land, son. A wise investment that will grow with you.
Invest in land with CIBC Caribbean and we'll give you US $250 towards your valuation cost and 50% off your loan application fee. With CIBC Caribbean land financing, you can choose to build, hold, or pass on to your children. Visit CIBCCaribbean.com to learn more. Conditions apply.
Got itchy palms? That's a sign. Money could be coming your way with Scratch and Win from Caribbean Lottery. It's the easiest way to win instantly. No waiting, no fuss. With tickets starting from just $2 up to $20. Win over $35 million in prizes. The higher the price, the bigger the prize. So scratch today for your chance to win up to $200,000. Available at Caribbean Lottery agents island-wide. Must be 21 years and older to play.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust to secure your investment. You need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us.
TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind.
You're always safe with us.
Welcome to Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea, only on Win Media 98.9.
And we are back on Island Tea. And just to boost our spirits a bit, I see that our flag, our St. Kitts and Nevis flag, it has made history on the BBC. They said at the Notting Hill Carnival, it says news featured the St. Kitts and BBC News, featured the St. Kitts and Nevis flag flying proudly in its coverage of the London's massive Notting Hill Carnival, the second biggest in the world, second to Brazil, out of all of the other giants of Carnival, TNT, the Mecca, Brazil, the largest, Jamaica, and more. It was our little SKN flag that took front stage on the BBC. So there we go. I think it is being televised to the world once more. So there is something we can be proud of, being residents and citizens of this beautiful federation. And in other news now, I see the JNF General Hospital goes from 12-hour shifts to 8-hour shifts for nurses. And as I look in the comments, in the comment section, I see a lot of positive comments. I see big move, man, nurses going to feel better and patients going see more care too. They say shorter shifts mean less burnout and better mental health for healthcare workers. This will also reduce errors and make care more reliable. Nurses will be more motivated to stay in the profession, and healthy nurses, better outcomes. Patients win, nurses win. Caller, go ahead. You're live on Island T.
Good morning, Katensia, once again.
Good morning.
I don't know if you're still on the doctor's observation.
No,
but
that program
I'm
has
trying to
concluded. We're back to regular programming.
Okay, good enough. All right, Potentia, I have said something, and I will continue to reiterate and affirm what I've said. It's pertaining to Nevis and what's going on, and it's happening right before our eyes. All the other deals that happen, we did not acknowledge of such. But this is our generation and this is our time. And let everyone who are listening make that clear. By the way, this is Winston, welcome again. Nevis need help, and Nevis need help. And every resources that we have now, we should invest it, and help Nevis. Because what happened to St. Kitts shall not happen to Nevis ever again. Now, like I said, I'm taking an excerpt from Mark Brantley's statement last night, yesterday, whenever. He threw his wife under the bus to say the real estate firm that's making those deals is his wife's business. Potentially, if you're married to me, and you're married to me, and I'm married to you, sorry. We are one, right? We should be one. So why should, if there is a situation comes up which need you on your feet in hot water or in the fire, to say, it's not me, it is she, it is my wife.
But I don't think he meant it like that. He just say...
Well, hear this now.
Okay, go ahead.
Take it as it is. He says it's not him, it is his wife. Well, he lied. And if so, he threw his wife under the bus to take all the blame. Mark Bradley is a minister, and number one, they know they're not supposed to have conflict of interest. And they have committed that, they have broken that seal. The allegiance that they swore to the Federation is not what it is. They are thieves and crooks. And I'm going to give him the name, Crooked Mark. He's too damn crooked and too damn lie. Okay? And the penalty for these acts they have committed is treason and treasonous. I am saying it as a deterrent now, but there will be consequences for treason. And the consequences for treason is death by hanging. And I hope that if they continue with this path, we will not hesitate to put the rope around their neck right in the public square.
Caller.
Yes.
Aside from Mark Brantley, because I myself, as stated, I don't pay him too much attention. But you presently say that you're jumping in the arena to run as a representative for us in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. Do you feel that if you were in Mark's position, that you could have done better than him?
Yes, but I don't know what I would have done.
I'm going to tell you, I don't believe you could have done better than Mark. As a matter of fact, from how you've represented yourself from the moment you started way back until now, I think you will be worse than Mark. I think you would be worse than Mark. You don't listen. You don't listen. You come to your own conclusion. You don't take advice. You even with the force that you have, you still say that if you were to win, you want to be the leader. All of these things, from my perspective, are unrealistic. And then
Okay,
I
so
remember way back. I remember way back when you first started. You made the statement and said you are a realist, and I told you you are not a realist, and you have proven over time that you are and will never be a realist. Because a realist, I told you, I said a realist accepts the truth no matter how much it hurts. You don't accept the truth. You don't accept advice, but you want to be a leader. And it's easy to critique somebody who's in the position. That is the easiest thing to do. But I don't feel that you could, I don't even believe you could stand near, even though I'm not impressed with Mark anymore, I don't feel you could even stand up next to Mark.
Okay, that's your humble opinion, and I do heard you. But guess what? Regardless of what, I'm in it for the end of it. I'm not coming out. And guess what? I've shift gears. Nevis need help. Even though I made mention before that I'm running in 8th, well, I am subject to shift gears and the need for help. I'm weighing my options across the narrow. But Quint, I love you. I respect your opinion. You're entitled to it. I'm not upset. I will just move on and take it as a lesson to be better. Always be a humble man with my humble opinion. But guess what? The decision will be at the ballot. Not just by one person's opinion or 2 or 3. It's by the nation.
Yeah, you're right.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay? I am adamant on what I've said. I'm not going to change it. Yes, I'm open to corrections because, yes, I might not be in the straight just like how some people need to hear it, but I'm a hard talk and I'm a realist that I say I am. No one can change that. Thank you very much, Brother Chris. I will try again. I'm on the highway, really. So.
Yeah. Anyone can see themselves as they want to see themselves. That is the easiest thing to do. Hello? Hello, caller?
Caller, go ahead. You're live on Island T.
Yes. Good morning again. Different program.
Yeah.
Now, let me say something about this bill, right? We down here, we're sleepwalking. It was a saying long time that the revolution will be televised. The revolution is being televised. We are not paying attention. In that bill, now, we're focusing on Mark. Mark is trying to reclaim or take back 500 acre pop. In St. Kitts, it's 750 acres apart. Now, the Prime Minister went to Nigeria, came back, and talk about 100 acres of land. He talking farming. Farmers are requesting 100 acres. None is coming. The world is at war. We're in it, but we don't know yet because we ain't feeling nothing. We ain't trying to grow no food. The department seems to be obsolete right now. We need to pay attention to what is happening to us. The word sustainable settlement carries a lot of weight. In 2019, under the corona when we were locked down, that bill was passed in 2005. It wasn't Timothy Dem who passed it then in 2019. This is not maybe health care or school bill. This is a bill that is making provision for the people who have already bought. Because the world seat we're being sold a second time. Is making room for them to come in. It's, let me say, it's clearing the area for them. We're taking the thing the wrong way. When oppression becomes law, in this case it is, The people have one obligation. Resistance becomes a duty. How are we resisting? Even he is saying Natasha Gray come in this game here not knowing anything ain't gonna be no better than Dr. Joe, a rookie. The woman in Nevis agrees with the bill. The only problem she has with the bill ain't taking away the people and, no, is that Mark Brantley has given away his right to sign off on the investor deal. That is her problem.
Carla, I've heard both of the ladies who represent the NRP, and they say that one of their big problems is that these lands are trying to be confiscated to revert back to those who were here before and left. So I don't see where that statement that you're making is really true, because I myself listen to them and they over and over state that they do not like that aspect of it.
Janice, I listened to her. She might have punctuated with that, but the substance of her discussion was the fact that Mark Brantley is giving up his rights so he can get blame or whatever it is. That was the substance of her discussion on the radio.
But I don't disagree with her on that, because they not only spoke to this agreement, they spoke to the geothermal and the airport deal and so forth. So it's not any one thing. They're so in different aspects where he's just giving up these things to the federal government.
He's not giving up to the federal government. All is the same government. We are living in under a capitalist administration. It's not from here.
I agree.
It's the rulers of the world, and these people, our administrators, are simply obeying order. Mark Brantley is not, maybe today is the target, but the essence of the matter, we are overlooking to personally attack. It is called politics. What the real focus is in the term sustainable settlement. It is in gated community. I can tell you one, right? Anyway, we are not paying. Where the land them coming from? Whose land in Nevis is start? Are we exempt? It is a federal bill.
But Carla, if you've listened to me on numerous occasions, I've posed the very same thing that you're stating, and this didn't start in Nevis. What is happening in Nevis is reminiscent of what happened before during the Christoph Harbor.
I agree. And if they could have do it then, and if they're doing it now, what is to stop it from continuing?
But that goes into what you've been saying, and I agree with you. When these things happen, it seems as if our people have reached a level that they have set in their minds is comfortable enough, so they don't want to rock the boat. But it is a dangerous stance to take. because we're going to see this happening over and over again. To me, the way this bill was passed, it was done in such a smoothly deceptive way with wording and so forth and the time span that it was supposed to pass under the radar.
But the people doing.
Well, it's up to the people.
We are being sold a second time while we sleepwalking. I'm going to finish here by telling you, straight, these lands are not ours. The only place in this entire world that we can lay claim to land is in Africa.
But I heard you made that. I heard you made.
Repatriation is a must.
Caller, I heard you.
We need to start thinking and going back home. We could fight from there. This is them one.
Caller, caller, for someone, I admire you. I know that you're very, very wise, but I completely disagree with you on this. I heard you made that statement yesterday, and you reiterated. I agree to some extent. Africa is truly our base, our home. But let me tell you this. Our foreparents did not voluntarily come over here. Our foreparents were brought here. They shed blood, sweat, and tears here. Their bones were broken here. They were hung here. They were raped here. There were so many things were done to them here. The indigenous people were killed out from here. The bloody river and all that kind of stuff. So we have a right here. And no one is going to tell me or any of my offspring that I must leave what my foreparents bled for here and go to Africa and start all over again. No. I will go to Africa. I will meet with my brothers. If I can get land over there, I will. If I can't, I won't. But I will not give up what is here. I agree with you to some extent. If technically this land is not ours, you know, this land is not ours because we keep hearing crown land, and we're supposed to be independent. So if we're independent, why are you still calling our lands crown lands? The people, as you say, the people are sleepwalking.
But you're not sovereign.
Yes, I agree with you.
You cannot be a sovereign country if you cannot feed yourself. A sovereign country, there's a book you must read. It's called Trilateralism, the Trilateral Commission. You must read that. We are not even recognized as third world countries. Third world countries are referred to countries like Mexico and maybe Guatemala, because even though they might, the per capita income may be low, they are countries that can feed the people.
I agree with you, Carl.
We can take Guyana in the context. We are referred to as fourth world countries. We are not sovereign. It is an illusion. Independence, it was something written on a paper. Where is the independence? You were given independence, you were given freedom in a money world with no money, with no capital, to begin where? To begin to tax the life out of your people like the government is doing, thinking that is the way you can build an economy. You can't build an economy by taxing the minimum wage that is already overtaxed and minimum.
Yes,
it cannot happen.
I agree with you,
but that is the illusion.
But caller, you see, independence is not just a written on a paper thing. It should be a state of mind. And unfortunately, this is what we are not bombarding into the people who run for leadership. I mean, it irks me when I hear certain individuals who are vying for leadership in the future, and when I hear how they represent themselves, and I think to myself, the outer world is listening to this person, you know, they haven't even gotten into parliament as yet, but listen to how they represent themselves, and the outer world already knows how they are going to deal with them.
Independence, like you say, is a state of mind. But you know what? A person cannot be truly, or a person cannot be independent without knowledge of self. When our Prime Minister go to the UN and talk, A black man with an English tongue is not an independent man. He is a man without an identity. His name is Master's name, and he's talking the same man he's trying to talk to. His name you're using is his language you're using, and I'll pray in Jesus' name. You are not an independent person if your knowledge, whether you're Chinese, Japanese, whoever you are, whatever race you belong to, if you are not grounded in your roots, in your heritage, who you really are, we are African people. Look in the mirror, and the only reflection you see of people look like you is on the continent of Africa. The only truth is reality. You ain't gonna make it up. We are not this kind of people even. The Prime Minister cannot represent us truly. As an Englishman, that's what he is doing.
Okay, caller.
We have no language. They ain't trying to teach the people the language. So they too could have some form of identity when they reach in the bigger world. No. We are lost. We have been sold. We are a second time. And the law, the bill that was passed was to facilitate the buyers. Deal done. It ain't mark. It is a federal thing. It's saying it's Nevis. We are attacking Mark. Mark is small in it. Pay attention, people. Liberation is a must. Africa, repatriation, reparation, let we go back home. Let we go fight for wise we won. This is them one. Lady Kiano, is that they call, and Canilago? This is theirs.
But they don't want it, caller. If you know your history, they do not want it. You see, we speak history, but we don't. They don't want. Look. Look. You see down there in Puerto Rico. If you were to follow the Puerto Rican roots, they are descendants of the Colonagos, mixed with the black race. But you see what they want to do? They want Spain to take them over. So as big as, look where Willie St. Kitts and Nevis, and we're trying to hold on to something, and all that massive land that those Puerto Ricans have down there, they don't want it for themselves. They want to give it back to Spain. And if you go back to the history, of the Latin countries, you will find that when the blacks in America were fighting for human rights, the Latin American countries did not align themselves with them. They aligned themselves with the white. There are documentation that show where they went into court and got certain rights. It is only when they saw blacks were making rights in civil rights and they saw it would benefit them, they decided to take the color of brown, that they decided they were brown people. But if you follow the history of these Latin Americans, they have a Spanish phrase that means to strengthen the race, or to whiten the race, or to better the race, and it means to get more white. If you follow the Latin American people, even in their families, they discriminate against black people. So don't tell me my four parents were brought down here, died blood, sweat, and tears, and I'm going to give back up this land to people who don't even want it.
And I don't think we will be welcome in Africa as we think we would be.
The brainwash was comprehensive. What happened to those people is the same thing that happened to us.
Not necessarily, because listen, the African Americans, even though I don't really like that term, they have always fought for their color. They've even they segregated themselves, built their own villages, and proved that they could live separate from the white people and survive. We are the only race on the face of the earth who have.
What happened to them? Tell me.
The whites always come in and
striving African community in America. The last one was Philadelphia. there is a book, The Philadelphia Fire, will tell you about the people and that story.
Yes.
What I'm saying, I understand what you're saying, but you see those Caucasian people, they fight. Yeah, blood and sweat too. Kill off all the people and brought us for one purpose. We're here to occupy the lands until they are ready. That is our purpose here. As in Gaza, as in what's going on down there, is the same. It is not there. It is the world, our place, our seed. I know what you're saying. Saying kids, where we gonna run? Did you hear Tomal when he blow up? Where we gonna run? I go in Africa. Everybody talking about geothermal.
Well, that's
Nobody
another.
paying attention.
Caller, that's another
the
whole
risk
story
and
there.
the dangers.
Caller, that's a whole nother story there. So let's not even go into
So we're going
that.
astray. All of it is we're simply being led astray. Actually, we sleepwalking.
Anyway, I have to
Let's
take. I have to
enjoy
take
the
a
rest of the day.
I have to take a commercial break. I think you caller, you should engage more, and let's have a bit of a rapport as we try to enlighten our people, on certain things. There are certain things that I will agree with you, but there are certain things that I will adamantly oppose you on, and such is life. That's the way it is supposed to go. Let me take this bit of a commercial break, and I'll be right back.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
Here are your Horsford's Value Mart IGA specials.
Running August 21st to September 3rd.
Now, our Value Club Blue Tag specials. Essential Everyday Mayonnaise, just $17.99. Essential Everyday Trash Bags, $11.89. Mueller's Pasta, $5.99. Sunny Delight Smooth and Tangy, $7.99. Orville Redenbacher Microwave Popcorn, just $9.99. Essential Everyday Vinegar, $14.99. And now, our very low weekly
Value deals. IGA and Essential Everyday Cereals, $9.99. Essential Everyday Oats, Quick and Old Fashioned, $10.99. Chobani Greek Yogurt, $5.69. Pillsbury Cake Mix, $6.99. Swab Deodorant, $8.99. The Colgate Toothpaste, $7.99. Shop Smart, Shop Value Mart. Tell them in Spanish.
Sea listo y haga sus compras aquí en Value Mart.
Got itchy palms? That's a sign. Money could be coming your way with Scratch and Win from Caribbean Lottery. It's the easiest way to win instantly. No waiting, no fuss. With tickets starting from just $2 up to $20. Win over $35 million in prizes. The higher the price, the bigger the prize. So scratch today for your chance to win up to $200,000. Available at Caribbean Lottery agents island-wide. Must be 21 years and older to play.
Rams the good food people, always there to serve you. Rams the good food people, locations right near you. Rams the good food people, in-store specials for you. Rams the good food people. Rams. When you need better service, Rams is always here. Better value, better prices. Rams is always here. Rewarding your loyalty. Rams is always here. We are community. We are family. We are family. Rams for you and me. We are community. Rams for you and me.
Back to school is here at Harper's. Yes, Harper's, it's where it's at with the widest selection of school and art supplies for all schoolgoers, from the tiniest preschooler to the big cool college students. Plus, everyone can enjoy a 10% discount and a chance to spin the wheel and enter our grand draw in September. And the bonus is, our friendly team is looking forward to welcoming you again and again and again. For more information, call us at 466-6500.
Yeah, we got that.
Welcome to Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea, only on Win Media 98.9.
And we're back on Island Tea, and there's a comment here that really struck me, and it says, how hard can it be if the politicians are truly serious about feeding us, ourselves, or basically our people? So much fertile land, and all we do is wait for containers, and tourists shame on us. That literally hit hard.
That is
Wow.
that is emphatic. It sums it all up in a paragraph.
Commenter, you
Hello, caller. I realize I have two callers on note one time, so let me hear one voice first, and then let me hear one voice.
Hello. Hi.
Okay.
Okay.
So hold on now. Let me hear the other voice.
Yeah, well, that's
Hello?
me.
Hello. Let me hear the other voice.
Hello?
I'm just hearing Mr. McMahon.
There's
Do we have a
another-
second caller on the
Yes,
line?
There is another caller
Yes.
there. Speak up, please.
Okay, go ahead,
You
caller.
sound very, very soft. Put your
Okay, I don't know if you're talking to me or the other person.
We're talking to you.
We're speaking to you
Okay.
now because we heard
Yeah.
Mr. McMahon.
Your caller before that end, the rest that end the call before the break, talking about we going back to Africa. Now, you see the thing that we have here in our politicians, our local politicians in the Caribbean and also in Africa, who are selling out land. Once you know the value of land, you don't sell land. Land is the patrimony of the people. Now, the caller said that we need to go back to Africa. I think, Quint, we need to understand that we were taken. Now, they put it in the scripture and tell us that in the last day, God is going to gather back up his people, back up into the land of their forefathers. That is us. But that is a false hope they give us, because the God in the Bible is them. Now, we going back to the continent, as the caller before stated, Quint, it doesn't mean that we're giving up our land here.
No, but that is what... Caller, hold a second. I hear what you're saying now, but that is what he was saying. That is why I had to say to him, because he went so far as to say, this land belongs to the Kalinagos. So that is why I interjected and I said, I am not going to give up my piece of the rock that my foreparents' blood, sweat, and tears for, because I listen carefully to what people say before I make statements. So go ahead.
Quint, now, Europeans and Americans can travel this earth without a visa, or even without a passport. Now, what gives them that right? You look at this word that we relate to, we call foreign investment. When foreign investors come, they come to put their money to work for them here. We can do the same on the continent of Africa. And it doesn't mean that we must give up our land here. What
I
is
agree
in
with you.
Africa, we are entitled to it.
I agree with you, and I said I don't have a problem going back to Africa and claiming something over there, but I will not give up what I have here.
Oh.
That is what I said. This is why I say...
Caller, can we claim any lands that...
This is why I say I
knowing that we
listen to
weren't born
people,
there?
and I want people to also listen to me when I speak. Go ahead.
Now, to the question that Katense is asking, yes, we know the system that is in Africa. Now, the thing about claiming land, we can't just walk into Africa and claim lands. There are procedures. There are agents that can acquire land for us, especially if we want to invest. I'll tell you one area that is needed on the continent is real estate, building homes in certain rural areas. Now, there are agents, I mentioned a couple of years ago, that there is ADDI. It's a legitimate
platform that you can sign on to if you want to invest in Africa and put money to work for you. You don't even have to go there. But out of that, because, I want to give the other caller a moment. We need to take ownership of what is ours. We always like to say, oh, we don't manufacture this here on the island. Well, the land belongs to us. Let us take ownership in that because land have value. So the same way that Americans and Europeans can come here and invest and they can come and build a condo, a unit and put it to rent while they go back. We can do the same, but our leaders need to start to realize the value of our land. With all this that is going on between Mark and all of them in the federal decision that they make, what do they see when they see these foreign investors? Who do they see? Look at our leaders on the continent of Africa. When they go to France, they see Emmanuel Macron like a god. And this is how our leaders, when they see these foreign investors come, that they see God.
Okay, caller, let the other.
Okay, Prince, I'll leave it there. Let the people think on this.
Yes. Go ahead, Mr. McMahon. Mr. McMahon, before you make your statement, let me say this. The callers who said that we're picking on Mark. We're not picking on Mark. Like I said, if anyone listens to me and people, this is what people need to do. I made sure that I referred, not today, long ago I said we're seeing something reminiscent of the Christoph Harbor. That's one. But why we are jumping on Mark now is because he is the head over there in Nevis. And what happens in Nevis, he should be in control of. So this is where when the female leaders over there make their statements, I agree with them. Go ahead, Mr. McMahon.
Yeah, and you're right. It's not just Mark. The Prime Minister is complicit in this as well, okay? Because he essentially, I don't know if Mark is doing what Mark suggested, or this came originally from him. But we have to watch the mindset of our leaders.
Yeah.
Okay? I don't know. I've seen people say, where they say that the Prime Minister left his home in St. Peter's and went into a gated community in Beacon, right?
Martin, I think.
Right. I don't. Is that in fact true? It's a gated community there.
I don't know. That is what I've been hearing. I don't know. But I don't think it is really a gated community. I think it's a more secured community. That is what I think, because gated.
Meaning what?
I say secured because
can anybody just go up there and drive?
No, this is why I say a secured area. But I said, I'm not sure. But here's this. This is what I feel happened, right? I feel that after Mr. Prime Minister Jew became Prime Minister, he wanted to be in a space where he could have some privacy, where people will not be bombarding him continuously. So he went into a more secure area. There might be those who have a problem with it. I can see that, but I don't really have a problem with it, because you know that when you reach a certain status in life, people tend to bombard you. They want this, they want that. And as a leader, you need some space to be able to think, to maneuver, and to do things, but people see it however they want.
Yeah, well, I think it still boils down to a matter of style. Because if you look at the history of our prime ministers, I'm not sure that was the norm.
That was not the norm, but you're right. Back in the day, Thatcher didn't do it. He had a piece of land there, but you could pass. It was right there. And
no, you absolutely have to have security.
That's it. And Kennedy Simmons and others before they were. But recent time, this seems to be the trend.
All over the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I don't know that that's a good trend. I think people the representatives of the people
should stay where.
Yes, right. Whatever the people are going through, they should go through with them.
With them.
Okay. Of course, there has to be security, but to actually move out, I don't think that was a smart.
But hear
that was
this.
smart politics.
But hear this. I'm going to be hypothetical. Let's say, let's use, for instance, Sean, who was recently, he was a deputy prime minister. Let's use Timothy Harris, who was a prime minister. We know where he lived and so forth. We would see Timothy Harris and Sean in town moving, even during that period, as just normal, just like us. But what happens, this is where the hypothetical comes in. What happens if a leader goes in, a leader knows what their intentions are, and they know their intentions aren't really for the people. They're going to be making sure that these foreigners come and get certain things, and they know that their people are not going to be too happy. What do you think they're going to do? That's the hypothetical.
But that's the whole point. That's what I'm saying. That it's not just about Mark. It's the mindset that is there currently, the kind of diva mindset where you're it's almost like a celebrity kind of thing, which I'm not sure, to me anyway, it's out of place in a small place like this.
I agree.
Okay.
Hortensia wanted to say something?
But I was going to agree with Hortensia when she said, who says that we'd be welcome in Africa if we went back there?
Yeah.
Right? So I am saying that we should really concentrate in the here and now.
I agree.
Okay? And
those who want to go back, they can go back, though. That's their right if they want to.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
The reception they might get might be a different case altogether, right? But
there are some, like I was saying to Hortensia, there are some African countries who presently are admonishing people who have skills and so forth, who are of the same pigmentation. They're enticing them to come back home because they can contribute to their societies. But not all of them are going to be like that. So you're right.
And that's good. And hopefully they have the appropriate concessions and so on.
Yes.
Okay. To encourage them. That certainly would be good. But the thing is, what I'm more concerned about is the mindset of the current leadership, which seems to suggest that there's only one kind of investment that we can have. And I pointed out already, you have Frigate Bay as an example where there's synergy between outside investors and local investors to create a good model.
Yeah.
Christoph Harbour, I think, we missed an opportunity to basically change that. And I'm not saying they are good. They are high net worth individuals down there, obviously. Okay, but there's no reason why you can't create. They couldn't get some of the land when Christoph Harbour developers were on the ropes, and create another tier.
But Mr. McMahon,
that local people can.
But Mr. McMahon, this is where this is reminiscent of what is happening on Nevis. Remember that the lands over Frigate Bay, the government inserted, somewhere along the way the government got inserted, and they acquired the land. And then you see what happened to the land. And this is what is seems to be happening over on Nevis again. And this is where this is what I cannot understand, where government is going to go, because the owners of the land say, well, we're having a problem negotiating and whatever. Government comes in, pulls some strings, whatever. But why do you just turn all that land back over to an external entity? One, then when the external entity runs into problem, on numerous occasions, you bail them out. So you see where we're losing as a people all the time?
Yeah. But the point though, there's still an opportunity to turn things around in the sense that we can make adjustments. right? Even to the current bill. We can make adjustments so that
So what adjustments
you know,
would you suggest that they make to the current bill? Because if you realize in the address last night, Mr. Brantley was sure to say that the person is a citizen of the Federation, and I was wondering, is this person a citizen by the CBI or is this person...
A citizen by the CBI.
By the CBI, because he said the CBI, we can't be dependent on the CBI.
And you see, this is another problem we find ourselves with, because I remember a prior leader who emphatically, when we were questioning these foreign investors and what right they had, and they seemed to be usurping us and our position, and that leader emphatically told us they were citizens.
well, the fact that they are citizens, though, don't mean that they can get away with anything.
Yeah.
We are citizens. That don't mean we can do what we like.
But Mr. Mark Mahan, the indigenous citizens...
I think I made the example yesterday
The
where I said I was living in a cul-de-sac. That
Yes.
don't mean I could go up and put a gate at the top of the road.
Mr.
And
Mark Mahan, the indigenous citizen is different to the external citizen, because here's where I'm going to show you the example.
He didn't hear what you said, Quint.
He heard that.
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah.
Okay.
But here's where I'm going to show you the example. The indigenous citizen builds up a business. It is beneficial to the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. The government owes that indigenous individual. The indigenous individual says, well, okay, this is a long time. I want some of my monies. And the government says to that indigenous individual, well, okay, if you don't work out something where you either pull back on pushing for this money, we're going to come and take the land that you have. That's how they deal with the indigenous. But when it comes to the external let me finish. Let me finish my point. The external individual now comes, you give him the land and he doesn't have money, he doesn't develop the land over a given period, you bail him out once, you bail him out twice, you never say to him, well, you're owing and we're going to work something out where we're going to reclaim. No, you let them go to the point where they start to sell. So you see, that is what I'm telling you. There's a difference between how they treat our people and...
I see that actual example. I see where you're coming from now.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying, but there's two things there, though. The local individual can take legal action.
Yeah.
No? They can.
But I was saying he shouldn't have to. Our government should realize this is a person who is investing here. Why are you pressuring him? Because he's demanding what is rightfully his.
Yeah, I agree. It really shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
It shouldn't happen. Okay. Yeah. I mean that's a classic case, and that's what I said at the beginning. It has to do with mindset.
That's it.
If people in power think like that, and disrespect our locals to the point that they're prepared to do that instead and favor the foreigners instead. That suggests that we have the wrong set up there.
And
that
suggests that
that's outrageous, really.
And that suggests that the mindset of our people, whether we want to accept it or not, whether it's a hard pill to swallow or not, the mindset of our leaders is, as long as you're of the same color like them, they can talk down to you, they can abuse you, but when you're of a higher pigmentation, they bow to you, they genuflect, they would even crawl for you.
Imagine that in 2025.
Yeah.
You know, it's a sad state of affairs. But I still feel that we can change things. I still feel, for instance, we can lemonade out of the St. Christoph Harbor lemon.
Yeah.
Okay. If we have better policies, and even with this bill, we can still make something good out of it if we don't leave these current set to themselves. I didn't like, for instance, this part where the oversight is to be provided by the Prime Minister and Cabinet and those things and Parliament, because if the mindset at the top is not right, you could bet your life that oversight is going to be tainted. We see it all the time.
Yeah.
Whatever oversight board they appoint, we know it's probably going to be a rubber stamp.
Yeah.
That is not the way to go.
Okay.
Okay. Then.
Morning, guys.
Yeah, go ahead. You're going to be our final
Morning,
caller. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Quinn, you literally you took the words out of my mouth. I've been trying to call all morning, but today the line was just busy. You take the words exactly, and the example that you just gave is the exact example I was going to use with the guy that they're trying to take away what he have because they don't want to pay him. I mean, and earlier this morning you were talking about when you were reading something where they said we're going to be the first, I forget the word that they used, that we're going to be the first up.
The first sovereign enclave, sovereign, there's a word, I can't bring it right now.
Yeah, you can't remember. I can't remember it either. But it's like we're going backwards, 'cause now we're going to be the first for that. And we were the first to, when slaves started leaving Africa, we were the first country where they stopped. So what do? We're going backwards.
Yeah.
It seemed like they're dragging us backwards then. They're trying to enslave us again.
Yeah. But this time they are not trying to enslave us, you know. This time we've been so programmed, it seems, that our leaders is just giving back what
Just giving it away.
Yeah.
And the comment that the person talk about farming and how it shouldn't be hard to feed the people. That comment is so right.
Yeah.
They make it seem as though it's rocket science. When we brag, that's why numerous of times I say we sound stupid on the ear when they come on and they boast about our fertile land. I keep saying it. We sound dumb. We should not say that.
And of
because
all
we
the
have
things,
fertile land and we can't feed ourselves.
and what our leaders don't seem to understand, of all the things that they can push, the one thing that would show your people that you're really moving towards independence is to set up agriculture. If you do that, then the people know at least we can feed ourselves. And it's the one thing they stubbornly are not moving.
It seems like they're running away from it. It seems like to me, it seems like a deliberate act.
I would think so.
It seems like a deliberate act. It's like they don't care. It's like depend on the food, you know. So when things, cause they look at the world and they see what's happening. When things start to go bad, they're gonna blame it on Trump turf. Trump shut down this, Trump shut down that. Why you cannot have that? Why you cannot eat? Blame it on America. Blame it on what about we blame it on you? Because then you should see the signs.
Yeah.
Right? We brag about our fertile land and we're not using it. What's the point? You know, it's like the Bible talk about the talent. We bury it.
Yeah.
When God give us fertile land and we burying it. It's useless to us.
Yeah,
So stupid we stuff. Oh, God help us.
Yeah.
Guys, have a good day.
Same to you.
Same to you.
Same to you. She's so right.
Yeah.
If the Almighty Creator forbids that there's a war, at least we will know if we have water, if we make sure we have proper water supply,
Yep.
and we have food, we could sustain ourselves over a given period.
Yeah,
And
we
you
have
want
good
to
health care that we can take care of
and
our
you want to
folks.
tell me our leaders can't see that?
No.
Wow.
We're looking at the next best way to make money, but not how to feed the people. How
So
about that?
that's how we're gonna bring an end to Island Tea for today. We're 9 minutes past the 10 o'clock hour.
Yeah, hot tea.
Yeah. Tea has been hot these days. Not
Boiling,
even
boiling
warm,
back.
you know. Not even warm. Hot.
Piping hot.
So you have to blow on over it before you take a
All
sip.
time things.
Yeah.
All right, good.
You take a
You too.
You take care.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.